Welcome to Building Better Relationships with Chuck and Barb Lewis, equipping listeners and viewers with the biblical tools to conquer the difficulties faced in this life. Chuck has practiced crisis intervention since the 1980s and has been in ministry together with his wife Barb for over 20 years. They've taken the countless lessons and the knowledge they've acquired and have put them into this life skills class to share with you. We hope this blesses you.
Well, hello again. I'm Pastor Chuck Lewis, and this is my wife.
I'm Barbara.
And we're excited to be with you again for another Building Better Relationships broadcast. And today we're going to be talking about
Problem solving.
And boy, you may be listening right now and say, yes, I've got a lot of problems, but I don't have a lot of solutions. Well, the more we practice learning different solutions and asking God to give us wisdom to get to those solutions, it's amazing what the Lord will show you and download into your heart, to be able to come up with solutions. I know I prayed one time and I said, Lord, I don't have the answers. And he said, you don't even know the questions. So I started asking him for the questions. And you've said a number of times, how do you come up with all these questions?
Right.
And that's from the Holy Spirit, because I ask him for that.
Yes, you're so good at that.
Well, questions sometimes can lead to solutions. And the more you begin to look at a problem, you pray for a solution and you ask God to give you wisdom to solve that. And what I think is important to do, Barb, is to write down the problem on a piece of paper.
Yes, that's a good idea.
And then start developing a strategy to figure out your plan of how to resolve that problem. Now, all we can do is our part, and then God can do his part. But we can't do God's part, but we can definitely learn how to do our part.
Right. And first, like you said, first we identify the problem, but I think, and gathering information, a way that we can gather information is to use the speaker-listener technique that we've talked about before, and that's where we, each person takes turn being the speaker, the other person is the listener, because you both cannot talk at the same time.
Right.
So let's say I'm the speaker. While I'm the speaker, you're listening. And you ask me questions for the purpose of understanding, what's going on with me. Because we've got to understand the issue before we can do problem solving.
Right.
And there's a verse that says, look not only to your own interests, but look also to the interests of others. So we want to find out, what are your interests and your concerns regarding this problem? And wanting, each other to say how we feel about that, how it's affected us. And we can't know that without asking questions. We have to understand the problem thoroughly.
And see, part of valuing the differences is to honor the other person, even though we don't agree with what they're saying.
Right.
And I had to learn that because I thought if I disagreed, I couldn't validate, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
I just needed to keep expressing my view and telling you how I should do it or how we should do it or whatever.
Right.
But see, these tools and skills help you to learn how to do it differently.
Right.
And I could have done it the rest of my life that way. But I have to look at that and say, well, how's that working for me? And it's not working at all. So it's like, okay, I need to be open then to try something different. And hearing and validating the other person, you may hear something that makes sense and you go, wow, I didn't even think about it that way.
Right.
And then that helps you to get to the solution also.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So we really need to understand what the other person is thinking, feeling, how this has affected them, how it affected their interests. Might not be the same as our interests.
Right.
But we really need to understand the other person to fully know how the issue, what the problem is. And then we trade, and the other person becomes the speaker, and they can say what their side is. And this is for the purpose of understanding. This isn't, you're not getting to problem solving yet, but you're understanding each other. And if you begin to escalate during that time of speaker listener talking to each other about the issue,
Right.
then you need to take a time out, because whenever you get escalated, you can't really hear. I mean, it affects your hearing. I've really seen people not be able to hear whenever they're angry. They just can't hear what the other person is saying.
Right. And if you wear hearing aids, it doesn't matter how high you turn them up, you just don't hear them anyway. So you can hear things that you don't like or you don't agree with, but part of validation is to validate the person's thought, even though you totally disagree with it. I had a guy come up to me one time and he says, "Well, I believe God's a woman. What do you think about that, Pastor?" I says, "You can think that. It's fine." I don't argue those kind of things with people. Yeah. It's needless. I'm not going to convince him. He's not going to convince me. But he was trying to pull me into something that I could have stood there and argued for the next hour about that, which doesn't accomplish anything. So it's listening to different viewpoints. It's hearing our opinions and things like that, and valuing that as far as you could share something with me that is completely different and foreign to me, but I don't have to put it down. I don't have to, deframe. Is that the word? Defame you, and say you don't know what you're talking about,
right?
And that's your problem, and blah blah blah. And then we get into another problem, and arguments begin to start. I think we're living in a world where I have noticed, and I'm sure if you're listening, you have too, that our world is really deficient of affirmation. I don't hear a lot of people affirming each other, and it's just amazing how much we need affirmation. Right. And if we do that as a couple, if we affirm each other as a couple and value what's being said by each other, even though we don't agree,
right,
I believe that you'll reach a solution a lot quicker.
Right, because you're so good at talking about end result thinking, and what is our desired outcome? Is our desired outcome just to be right, or is it to preserve the relationship?
Yeah.
And most of the time, if you want to preserve a relationship, it's worth the hard work, of communicating, and so you really want to affirm how the other person's feeling, even if you don't feel the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Because one thing I can say to you, even if I don't understand, your point of view, is I really care about your feelings.
Yeah, which helps so much, and it really diffuses an argument when you begin to affirm each other.
Yeah.
I met a lady one time and she said, "I married Mr. Right. I just didn't know his first name was Always." And boy, it's hard to communicate with somebody like that, because if they feel like they're always right and you're wrong and you're deficient and I wish you were on my level, blah, 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 it's very hard to stay close to somebody like that. Our spirits close up, and if our spirits close up, we don't even like that person anymore. See? And most of the couples that I've worked with over the last 50 years of counseling is I try to get people to fall in like with each other. And then if they fall in like with each other, then the love will take care of itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So really part of honor is really learning how to like each other. You don't have to agree with everything that's said, but you can choose to like them. I'm sure Jesus doesn't approve of everything that comes out of our mouth either, but he not only loves us, but he likes us too. Yes. And you think, God likes me? Wow, that's a whole different concept, to think that God would actually like me.
Yeah.
Well, he does. He does like you. Yeah. He died on the cross for you. I mean, he likes you. He loves you. He paid this incredible price on the cross for you. And, if you don't like or love somebody, you don't die on a cross for them. I guarantee you.
That's for sure.
What a horrible death he went through. And that was love that held him to that cross for you. So, another thing of problem solving is if we're downing ourselves and we're allowing a lot of toxic stuff to come out of our mouth toward ourselves or the other person, it's going to be very hard to problem solve, even in our own life, because there's no creative ideas that are coming to my mind if I'm putting myself down all the time.
Right. I mean, that's honor. One thing we're trying to teach here is that we need to honor each other.
Right.
And it's got to start with yourself. If you're not honoring yourself. And, part of being in a good relationship is that all can have a voice. Everyone can have a voice. And that voice is valued.
Yes.
And so, I've heard you talk a lot, not just about honor, but about the adult-child position. And if you're in a child position, you feel like a victim.
Yes.
Like you don't have any power. So part of having personal power is having a voice and having the other person value what you have to say. But everyone needs to be, what they say needs to be valued, even if it's different than what we think.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And God wants to be right in the middle of you figuring out a solution to your problems. I remember years ago I had a water filter installed on my sink, and they told me that the number of the contaminants would go down tremendously when this water filter was added. And so they installed it and they left, and I checked the water and it was the same number as the tap water was. And I remember I'm thinking, boy, this is not right. This should not be the same number. And I felt like the Lord spoke to me in my spirit, not an audible voice, but just in my spirit. I felt like he said, you want me to show you how to fix that? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. I never even thought about asking the Lord to help me fix something. And he said, I'll show you how to fix that. That's how much he cares about us. So, again, it wasn't an audible voice, but I had this impression to just shut the water off and unscrew the filter case that it was in and look inside the filter case. And when I did that, I noticed that the installer had not screwed the filter on properly. And it was laying on the bottom of the canister.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And so I screwed the filter on properly, and then reinstalled the canister.
Yes.
And turned all the water back on. Sure enough, the numbers were low on the contaminants on the filtered water, and they were high on the tap water. And the Lord showed me how to do that. It was just amazing. And so I've asked the Lord on other projects that I've got that I've needed to do, Lord, show me how to do this, because I've never done this before. It might be something totally foreign to me that I've never tried, and I've asked the Lord to be right in the middle of that problem and help me fix it. And He has. He's impressed on my mind different ideas of what I could do. And I'm telling you, and you know this, Barb, just the Lord showing me how to do things has saved us hundreds and thousands of dollars in repair costs. And I don't try to fix everything. I mean, I know my limitations. I mean, I don't go trying to tear out a transmission or any of this stuff. I mean, I'm talking about just household items that need to be repaired. I will attempt some of them and not all. I mean, I'll call a professional on some, but I've asked the Lord to help me with so many different projects, and He's been so faithful to do that. So He impresses on my mind different ideas to try, and it works.
So what you're saying is when we're having problems and we need some problem-solving ideas, ways
Yes.
that we can compromise where both people can find a solution that fits both of them, you're saying you can ask the Lord for help.
Yes.
And He will help you. He says, if you seek me, you will find me.
Right.
If you seek me with your whole heart.
Right.
And it also says in the Bible that if any of us lacks wisdom, to ask, and it will be given to us liberally.
Right. Right.
So what are some, when you've identified the issue, we've talked about being the speaker and listener and taking turns, saying thoroughly how this problem has affected us, so we're understanding each other better, and we took a time out if we needed to. So now we're to the problem solving, and what are some thoughts about that? How can we come to a solution that is good for both of us, that we can compromise
Well,
on
I was
or
hoping
something?
you would tell us.
Well, you're so good at problem solving. Our joke, or not really a joke, it's a good thing, is calling you a solution specialist.
Solution specialist. Well, the Lord gets the glory for that, because again, I don't not only know the answers, I don't know the questions, but God does, and He wants to show us. The Bible said, "He that lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, because God gives liberally wisdom if we ask for it."
Yes.
And I know I'm paraphrasing that scripture, but
Yeah.
I know that He cares so much about us. Otherwise, why would He give us wisdom to solve different things if He
Right.
didn't care?
Right. And one thing we were talking about when we were discussing problem solving is just an example could be that it's a landscaping issue, and I like all red flowers and you don't like red. And I also wanted to plant some junipers or something, but you're allergic to them. So once we both have talked about it thoroughly, when I realize that you don't like red or would like some other colors.
And that's a facetious example.
Right.
Yeah.
We can have multiple colors or pick a color that's good for both of us.
Right.
And I would not want to plant plants that you were allergic to.
Right.
If I know that's where the Bible says, look not only to your own interests, but to the interest of others. So when I find out you're allergic to something that I want to plant, well, because I love you, I wouldn't plant something that you're allergic to. So
Well, that's a good point.
that's why identifying what the problem is, asking questions and gathering facts so that you understand the problem thoroughly, it's going to change the decision that we make.
It will.
Once we know all the facts.
If we're not selfish.
Right.
See, if we're selfish, we could say, well, you're allergic to it, get over it.
Yeah.
Put a rubber band around your head and snap out of it.
Well, that's where we are looking at the end result thinking, because
Yeah, right.
you said, do we want to be right or do we want to preserve the relationship?
Sure.
And we have a saying is just be kind all the time, no matter what. We
Right.
can be kind
Right.
while we're working through this,
That's right.
but we can care about each other's interests and want to find a solution that works for both of us.
Well, that's what honor and respect is all about, is honoring the differences. You're not going to agree on everything. But love and honor says, if, your example, Barb, if you're allergic to something and the other one's not, honor says, okay, then I won't consider that, because I wouldn't want to do something that's going to affect your physical health.
Right.
See, love really does go that extra mile. Love puts our own selfish thoughts down and considers the other person. Right. And then you work out some kind of a compromise, or there's nothing that cannot be worked out. I believe that with all my heart.
Right. There's an answer for every problem.
There's an answer. But we have to get to a place where we say, it may not end up the way I want it to be. It may not be my way or the highway. Right. It doesn't have to be that way. Right. But love says, okay, I really want to know your ideas, your points. I want to know what is troubling about this for you. I want to know if you don't have a peace about this and why. See, that's what love does.
Right.
But boy, in a country of selfishness, it says, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you want. I'm going to do it my way, and it's going to be this way, and that's end of discussion. Well, in my opinion, you're going to be living a very lonely life if you're demanding that way, and it can be on either side.
Yeah.
But if you're demanding your own way, then God cannot bless that. He wants to bless us.
He does.
As a couple, He wants to bless our relationships. He wants us to be so madly in love with each other that the love will take care of all the things you don't like. See, the like will not, the things we don't like will not dominate, but the things that we love about each other will dominate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So problem solving is for you and for us. We just have to apply ourselves and say, Lord, show us the answer, show us the way to solve this, and He will be delighted to do that. If we just don't try to do it ourselves, we pull Him into it and then listen to His voice. Well, we're out of time again today. God bless you. It's been great to be with you. We encourage you to press what buttons again?
The like, subscribe, and share buttons.
Yes. Don't push each other's buttons. Push the like, subscribe, and share button. And we really appreciate that. And we need that for the ratings of this program. And I guess we're up to over 3,000 subscribers now, and we're excited about that. So join us again on our next program. Put in your comments if you have comments. If you want to donate to this ministry, go to our website, chucklewisministries.com, and you can press the donate button, and that will show you how to donate. Thank you so much. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
If you are blessed by this ministry, please subscribe, like, and share. You can also make donations at chucklewisministries.com. Join us to keep uncovering the tools to build better relationships together. Let's do this again next week.